What movie will you always recommend to people? Heathers, you start off thinking it's a ratty teenage rom-com about typical high school problems, and then 30 minutes and you realize you were terribly wrong and people are now getting killed. The Princess Bride. Why do you wear a mask? Were you burned by acid? Or something like that? Oh no. It's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future. Thinking. Clue. It's a premise that hasn't worked since. With a stellar comedic cast and great writing, the fact they made 3 or more endings for the same movie and all of them could make sense is a testament to the writing. Plus it's infinitely quotable. Edit. I've seen Knives Out and think it's also a great movie. The acting and writing was very good. Murdered by Death is one I keep meaning to see but never seem to get around to. In regards to the part about the premise, I meant that Clue is the only movie based on a board game that worked. Edit 2. To all the people saying Jumanji, that was a book first, then a movie, then a board game. Same for Zathura. Office Space. I enjoyed the silly humor and over-the-top soundtrack as a kid. Now I work in a sea of cubicles for a faceless corporation and can relate on every level. Aside from the operating system you briefly see on computer screens, it's incredible how relevant everything about that type of job still is more than 20 years later. What We Do in the Shadows. One of the best comedies in the last decade, if not 2 decades. The TV series is just as good as the movie Imo. Shawshank Redemption. My Cousin Vinny. A stone cold classic, and Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei's chemistry is brilliant. Edit. Well, I guess a lot of people also like this film. The Iron Giant. Groundhog Day. Just an amazing movie on how people can change for the better. 12 Angry Men. The film is over 60 years old and it still holds up so well. The Truman Show. Young Frankenstein. Second-hand lines. Princess Bride. Edit. Thanks for the first day gold. New phone. New account. Old user. Spirited Away. Right square bracket. Oh brother, where art thou? Emperor's New Groove. Easily the best movie Disney has ever produced. Not to mention the spectacular jokes. Every character is amazing and I will recommend this movie until the day I die. Edit. Turns out the movie is from Disney and not Pixar. Sorry about that. Edit 2. Thank you so much, kind strangers that gave me awards. I love you all. Howl's Moving Castle. I always recommend almost every Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movies, but this one is my favorite. The Fifth Element. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Stand By Me. Coming to America. Your Name. Beautiful animation, great story, and an amazing soundtrack. It'll be my favorite movie for a long time. The Mummy. Brendan Fraser. It's such a fun movie. The Matrix. Hands down my favorite movie. Something I always tell people to watch. Galaxy Quest. Goodfellas. Every ducking scene is flawless. It's the master at his best. The Life of Brian. Edit. Everyone who liked this has biggest DES energy. Snatch. Edit. Thanks for the gold, anonymous stranger. Edit. And silver and shooting star looking thing too. Terminator 2. Because it's Terminator 2. The Silence of the Lambs. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a bit lesser known so a lot of people haven't seen it, and it's so good. Kung Fu Panda. People always go into it with bafflingly low expectations, but it's a great film. I worry that now I've primed you all with the above information, it won't live up to the hype. Good Will Hunting. Young Frankenstein and Or Blazing Saddles. The fact that Mel Brooks got these both released in the same year always amazes me. So unabashedly, sophomorically fun and didn't give a rip about who got offended. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Princess Mononoke. Coraline. I just really love stories about ordinary people in supernatural situations, having to be clever and creative to find their way out of trouble. No bullet chosen one. Protagonist powers. Or plot armor. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. The Big Lebowski. I automatically know I'll get along with someone if they enjoy that movie. Rango. It's actually a really good western with a compelling cast of characters and a good moral. Everyone is the main character of their own story, and no man can walk out of his. Give Forgetting Sarah Marshall a shot. The Dark Knight. The Prestige. Truly underrated. I'm surprised no one said Mean Girls. I do own that one already, though. I love it for all the memorable quotes. Since this got so much attention, I thought I'd add. It's the 3rd of October. The 3rd of October, 2019 was when me and my current partner met. We watched Mean Girls the first time I went to his house. A few weeks later he had me over due to a power outage. He cooked for me and my son. He noticed the reference and the coincidence right away. Knives Out. I was blown away by how good this movie was, and I wish there were more films done in this sort of classic whodunit style. Back to the Future. Anyone who can't find joy in BTTF has failed at life. It's funny, creative, entertaining, and has one of my favorite movie scores of all time. The Count of Monte Cristo. The Prestige. A Knight's Tale. It's not the most popular movie, but it's just a fun movie that is an absolute pleasure to watch. Pulp Fiction. Forrest Gump all the way, and Good Will Hunting and Spirited Away. You just can't dislike them. My Neighbor Totoro. I have never shown anyone that movie and had anyone dislike it. The Godfather. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Though I don't expect anyone to have never seen those, and if such people exist, I do not expect them to have enjoyed life very well. Pan's Labyrinth. There are a lot of movies that I love, but I'm aware that many of them are my preference, and thus, probably not objectively as good as I think they are. Pan's Labyrinth is a masterpiece. The story and characters are compelling. The cinematography is a delight. And it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I've never enjoyed it less than the time before. For the curious, my favorite movies are Stranger Than Fiction, Jojo Rabbit, Labyrinth, The Skin I Live In, and Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's is the one of that top 5 that I recommend without reservation to literally everyone. Each of the other 4 generally come with caveats, or the understanding that it may not be as good as I think it is. Pan's though, that movie is just a treat. Edit. My first ever Edit award. Thanks. I hope some people who haven't seen this film are encouraged to do so. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Starship Troopers. I know it's about a fascist society, but it's just so good. Any Ghibli movie. The Devil's Advocate. Reeves, Pacino, and Theron. Great movie. In Bruges. Not everyone seems to appreciate my humor, but this movie is great for setting a bar. It's hilarious, and anyone who doesn't appreciate it is gonna get some it like up as my next recommendation. Children of Men. Incredibly shot, and exceptionally relevant to our political climate. Equilibrium. I know it's a 451 ripoff, but it's one of the best little known movies I've ever seen. Schindler's List. The Goonies. My mom and her boyfriend watched it and I decided to join. Absolute masterpiece. Oldie but goodie. About Time. Marketed as a rom-com, but really a movie that's about a different type of relationship. Being vague to avoid spoilers, but it's very good. Dazed and Confused. Inglourious Bastards. Interstellar. MRS Doubtfire. The makeup is phenomenal and Robin Williams is an absolute angel. The plot itself is really interesting too, so the movie overall is one of my favorites. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Amadeus. Edit. That's my first award after almost a year on Reddit. Thanks a lot. This is not my main account. How to Train Your Dragon. The first one, because I'm not a movie connoisseur. Ratatouille. Almost Famous. American History X. Napoleon Dynamite. It's so bizarre that I don't even watch it for the plot, just the random quotable lines. Casablanca. It's such a classic movie and well done, considering the time it was made. Tropic Thunder. A movie I can still laugh at to this day. Akira easily. The hand-drawn animation is so detailed in the cyberpunk setting, and sci-fi plot is something people really connect to. I've put alert people onto the movie who don't watch anime at all and they all thought it was dope. Edit. Holy it this blew up, I figured maybe 5 people would upvote. Ocean's 11. Clooney version. I just can't think of a demographic that wouldn't like the movie. It's funny, star-studded, well acted and written, great score, simple premise, satisfying end. It's not ever too vulgar or too violent. If I meet someone new and barely know anything about them except they watch movies, I'd recommend without hesitation, even if sci-fi or horror movies are your jam. If you watch Ocean's 11, I have no doubt you won't hate the experience. Space Jam. There's this excellent drinking game where you take a shot every time it zooms in on Michael Jordan's face. I lost track after the 7th shot. Great game. Terrible hangover. School of Rock. Jack Black's finest. Heartwarming and completely family friendly. A movie truly for all. The Iron Giant is amazing and needs to be seen by more people. Catch Me If You Can. The Truman Show. Silence of the Lambs. The First Blues Brothers. John Carpenter's The Thing. Inception. It makes you think about your own reality and question your own existence. Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't care how cheesy or weird it is great, but the remake is hell. Spaceballs. I wish I could see it for the first time. Pirates of the Caribbean. And then definitely the 3 movies with the good crew in my opinion. The Austin Powers trilogy, and DR. Horrible's sing-along blog. V for Vendetta, especially now.